And this is Geoff English. And the first question I want to ask is what made you decide to open your own business?
Originally, I worked at Casa for several years, and after at working in it for a while, I realized I could make some money doing it. So I tried to figure out ways to buy it, and that's what made my decision.
Good, nice. What was your inspiration to start the business?
To start it, well, it was already running. The stores I bought were already running, so I really didn't start it. I just started working in it with my partners that I got involved with.
Oh, okay. How do you currently use the social media to promote your business
I
and
don't.
to communicate with customers?
Okay, we use Facebook and Twitter and Constant Contact, and I don't do a whole lot of that. I let the employees that work with me play with the Facebook a little bit, and we do weekly specials and we do birthday clubs and stuff and things like that. So I'm not real involved with the social media, but we are involved to a small degree.
Okay. And how do you select your potential employees?
Well, that's interesting. Usually I'll ask my employees if they're good employees, if they know people or have friends. Because usually an employee that's a good employee will have friends that are similar to themselves. And then we go through the interview process. If that doesn't work out, I'll put out, help wanted situations where people come in and make application. And it's a matter of interviewing them, then talking to them and seeing what kind of feeling I get from them. And then you do the reviews, and the research, and hopefully you find some good people. It's hard to find quality employees when you only have about 30 minutes to interview a person.
That's very true.
So it becomes difficult. It's a little tricky. And I've been burned before where I've hired people and it's not worked out. But I've also, over the years, I've managed to acquire a pretty good and reliable crew.
Nice. And well, what do you think is the most important quality in an employee?
Uh, I I don't think I know in the
Well, what do you
restaurant
know? What do
industry.
you know?
The most important quality that I look for is personality. I can teach an individual to do anything, but if they don't have a personality and they can't get along with our guests and their fellow employees, I can't teach them to have a personality, and they have to have a good personality. And it's a little bit harder to find than you might think. You're looking for people that are friendly and hospitable and like to help other people. And those personality traits are difficult to find.
Cool. And well, how many different positions are available to apply for at Taco Casa?
Not many. We carry a crew between 13 and 15 people, and you can work in basically four positions in the store. You can work on the register, you can work behind the line, you can work in the kitchen, or you can be in management. So that's pretty much the extent of the options. But a lot of people are cross trained and they work in several of those types of positions.
Okay. And well, what kind of day-to-day things do you have to do, like in order to keep the business going? And
Day to day things, I mean, in the restaurant business, you do anything that's required. I mean, especially in a small little shops like I have, you're the owner and the operator type thing. You need to come in. You first start doing the store, opening the store. It's your first store. You're doing everything from washing dishes to bussing tables to cleaning things to cooking, and then you have to take care of your bookwork and stuff like that. And then also you have to manage your personnel and make sure they're happy and stuff like that. So the restaurant business can be extremely time consuming and absorb your life if you don't watch yourself. You can end up staying 10, 11 hours a day in your business if you chose to make sure it was running right. It would be a difficult way to
okay, well, what is the worst experience you've ever had
live.
during your
With
business?
worst experience, I think the worst experience I probably ever had was when I remodeled the store in the mall, when we had the store in the mall. And it was right after the remodeling, and my sales dropped significantly in 1990.
The year I was born.
And when you were a baby, my sales just dropped through the floor. Anyway, I was having a real difficult time, and I was having a hard time making ends meet, and so it just became very difficult during that period. I mean, when sales are dropping and you're not making the money you need to make to pay people and pay payrolls and stuff like that, it gets to be very stressful. But somehow we managed to make it through that, and things are much better now.
Well, that's good. Well, dealing with the employees, what steps will you take in disciplinary action before you actually fire them or like get rid of them?
I'm not a person that likes to fire people. Not because I'm not willing to fire people, but I'd rather retrain people. And so I'll give you every chance. If you show that you're interested and are willing to change some things and stuff like that, I'll do my best not to fire an individual. But the normal rule of thumb is we'll talk, and if we see an improvement, then we'll have another conversation and go over the improvements, or I'll just say you're doing a lot better in passing by in light conversation. But if you don't, then it goes to a written warning, and then after the written warning, and then it's the next step is letting you go. But very seldom do I fire people. Now, in a 90-day, when you first hire an individual, I have the right as an employer in the state of Florida to use what you call the 90-day probationary period. Not now.
Geoff, I'm leaving.
Okay. And what that allows me to do is if I've made a mistake during the hiring process and I can just see this isn't going to work, I'm just allowed to say, I'm sorry, we've made a mistake, and it's probably best we part ways.
Okay, if you could change one thing about the way you operate the business, what would you change?
The way I operate the business, I think that goes to my character flaw. Is I have a lot of different plans and thoughts and things to do, and a lot of them I'll get started on and I'll do about 90% of it, but I have a hard time finishing the last 10%. I'll get 90% of it done, but 10% there's always just the finishing makes it is difficult for me. So usually I'll ask other people to help me on the finishing.
That's good. Well, what is the best advice you would give someone in starting out a business?
If you were going to go into business, I would definitely encourage that individual to work in the business before they actually started a business from scratch, so that they have some idea what they're going to run into and the things they might have to do on a day-to-day basis. So it's best to do your research and just be careful and make sure you do your research and know what you're getting involved with, because you can lose a lot of money doing it.
Okay, well, is there anything else you would like to share about your small business, or like any other thing about starting up a small business? Like,
I wouldn't. It's not for everybody. I mean,
that's true.
A lot of people, they think it's you're the owner, you don't have to do anything and stuff like that. And it's really the opposite. When you become the owner of your own business, you have a lot to do. And very seldom do I take off weekends or anything like that.
Is that why you have gray hair?
That's why I have gray hair, is because you were born when I was rebuilding stores. Just old, but yeah, no, there's just a lot to do, and I don't take 2 days off during the week. Now I do make my own schedule, and my schedule's flexible, but I'm here most every day of the week, and so you just have to make sure this is your fit, that you want to be your own boss, because there's nobody else to turn to when things go wrong, and things can go wrong, and so you're the one responsible for it. And so you just need to be careful and make sure this is something you'd like to get involved with.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, resume.
We just got finished interviewing Geoff English, the owner of Casa, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.